from LA. When her fans refuse to let her get away. Oh, someone call security. Wake the giant, please. We've got trouble at 8:33. Okay.
It's good.
It's in the afternoon.
Break it up is what
Go.
you heard me say.
3, 2, 1. Welcome
Hi.
to a very special World Spins Fine on Her Own.
Yeah.
So we've had 7 different messages, whether it's texts or comments under the videos, asking us about us.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell our story. We haven't scripted it out.
No.
The only thing I did is I went back into the folder and found some old photos.
Uh-huh.
So first we'll tell you this, that we had a show, a radio show,
Yeah.
and we called it Robin and the Giant because she's Robin
That's me.
and I'm big. And
You're tall.
so we called it Robin and the Giant. So
Yeah.
while we're talking, we want to show you some pictures. So the first picture we're showing you is us at the microphone, which in those days we shared a microphone, as you can see in the picture.
Yeah.
And also, if you can see it in the picture, there's a dog on a quilt.
Yeah.
Her name is Mrs. Clute.
Your dog.
She was my dog. And
Yeah.
you might notice, if you're a radio person, you might notice cartridge machines. You might notice a reel-to-reel recorder and player.
Yeah.
In the lower left-hand corner, there's some other devices, like the emergency broadcast system was down there.
Yeah, before the emergency alert system.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where we started as far as our on-air time
Yeah.
is concerned, which I think is a good place to start, because I don't want to bore you too much with, where we were born and all that stuff.
Oh, no. No. This is,
So
this is it.
started here. This was WTMC, and what happened was I had a job there, and they wanted me to work Sundays.
Yeah.
And I said to the boss, I said, instead of paying me, I would like to have an hour of airtime. So they said, sure. So I got an hour of airtime on Sundays, and Robin and the Giant was born.
Yeah.
And Robin and I would every Sunday do stories and songs for children.
Our original
Our
stories
original
and
stories
original
and
songs. We wrote everything, so we didn't take someone else's creations. We wrote everything ourselves.
Right. And it eventually grew beyond the local market to an international market on the cable radio network. I
Yeah.
wish that we had that some. We might. If I find it later on, I'll add it as a B-roll.
We have it in our pink book.
Okay, so we'll put a
Yeah.
picture in there of the of that of what that
Digital cable radio.
Yeah. And that was before there was something called Sirius satellite radio or XM, whatever the other ones.
XM.
And anyway, so yeah, we were like one of the first children's acts. In fact, we were the first children's show that had talking and music.
Yeah, we were invited to do a 1-hour special.
Right.
And then that turned into 4 1-hour specials.
So we're not
The
going to.
different seasons of the year.
We're probably not going to do this video in chronological order,
No.
because I want to jump ahead to way in the future from that moment
Okay.
to that book, if Robin can hold it up.
Okay, sure.
So we did stories and songs.
Yeah, we did for the radio
And
show.
there is the book that we made later on. After we were done with the show, we had all these stories. Okay, now what does it say? 64 stories?
Yeah,
in there?
let's see. 56 short
56.
stories for children and other deep thinkers, The Gift of the Barking Frog,
Yeah.
and other gifts from the heart. Larry did the artwork.
And that's the only artwork in the book is the cover.
Yeah.
Okay, you can put it
It
down.
is for young
Can't
leaders.
see your face. Okay.
Yeah.
So we took 56 stories?
56 stories.
You can show them the words.
It's for young readers.
So we took 56 of those stories and we published them into a book.
Yeah.
And there was probably 3 times as many stories that we actually wrote during the course of the radio show.
Oh, yeah, because we were on the air for like 3 years.
And we
doing
had
that.
Christmas specials and Halloween specials. In fact,
Springtime special.
let me show you the picture from the Halloween special.
Ooh, that's my favorite cover.
There's the Halloween special cover.
Yeah, that's
so-
my favorite cover.
so
We're
we-
looking at a pumpkin.
Yes, we're looking at a pumpkin.
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
a pretty cover.
so the what was I want to say here? So the show became the album. Mm-hmm. We made an album out of the show.
Yeah.
We were also asked to do live performances.
Mm-hmm.
There's a picture of us looking a lot younger.
We created a whole show for that performance. It was called, the title was Not Too Long Ago.
Right, right.
You can see we were telling the story, The Gift of the Barking Frog, the story itself. And we were doing that, but then we interspersed other songs and stories that we wrote.
Right.
So it was a 1 hour special for children that we performed at Barnes and Noble. That particular scenery is from Barnes and Noble.
Right. So I want to show you a
Yeah.
picture of Robin singing, because we did the songs and we did the stories.
Stories.
So there's a
Yeah.
picture of Robin.
Here I am.
How cute is Robin, huh?
Yeah, decades ago.
And that was up in a studio in Gainesville.
Yeah, Florida.
And so we did all the songs, and it was just a great time for us. About 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the station sold, and guess what? We were out of work.
But while the station wasn't sold, there was a thing in movie theaters that were like advertising venues.
Oh, right,
that just sort of popped up there,
Right.
and they were trying it. So we went and made a commercial about Robin and the Giant, about
Right.
our children's radio show.
Right.
And we gave them the necessary photographs that they needed with all the contact information. And there we were on the big screen.
Is this the picture we used for that?
No.
So anyway, so this is the picture. I think this is the last day that we were at that radio station.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the last day. But and we didn't really continue to do anything other than make cassettes for children,
Right.
which-
Continued to write songs and stories.
which we did that. I'll show you
Sure.
some other pictures. Here's a picture of Robin holding the guitar, which she didn't
Yeah.
play, but it was just
My
a
son took that picture.
cute pose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I can't say I played that.
and so we went off from there. Now, after the radio station closed,
Yeah.
I think I said, "What the hell am I going to do now?"
Yeah.
I think those were my words. And so we found an opportunity for me to sketch, like at some of the theme parks and some of the resorts near the theme parks.
Right.
So
Right.
I want to show
Correct.
you. See, there's a picture of me
Yep.
sketching a mom and her daughter. And I have dark hair there.
They are called quick sketches, and these are the sketches that are done by artists before. This is the first step for an actual portraiture.
Yes.
It's not a caricature. It's for a portrait. Big difference.
Right.
And
It's-
you captured the
Whoops.
likenesses. You had to capture the likeness of the subject, or they would say, "Oh, who's that?"
Yeah. So that was where, I mean, I had done art all my life, but it was at that point where radio took a backseat because it wasn't in our lives anymore. And I was sketching people, going down to Orlando and
Yeah.
sketching people. These photos are not from Orlando. We don't have any photos from that, but anyway.
No.
So.
Right.
And then I went on to do other portraits. I'll just show you some of them. There's one of, I'm not going to name what Rob and I are looking at, only because I might not have the same pictures on the screen.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did a lot of portraits after that.
Beautiful portraits.
And since I was doing artwork, and since we wrote stories,
Yeah.
it made sense to do children's books.
Sure.
So that's what we're skipping ahead to.
Okay.
So we did children's books, and I think the very first children's book was called Live to Sniff,
Yeah.
which I'll show a cover of that, but I don't have it
Okay.
here with us.
Okay.
And I don't know the exact order of all the books we did. Do you happen to know? Are you looking for Live to Sniff?
No, yeah, but I can't find it. So,
So Live to Sniff, the story behind Live to Sniff, I'll let Robin tell you. It started with a walk. We were walking my dog, Mrs. Clute.
on the
and
hiking trail.
And she had her dog. Was it Lucky?
Yeah.
And the dogs were just sniffing and sniffing and sniffing. And one of us said, "Boy, dogs live to sniff." And we
Yeah.
looked at each other and we said, "Now there's a title for a children's book."
Yeah. That was great.
So we wrote a story about.
Two dogs sniffing, a male and a female. It's called Live to Sniff.
Okay, well,
What?
the way you just said it. No, they weren't sniffing each other.
No.
No, okay,
They were
so-
sniffing the ground. They were sniffing when it rained. They were
All right, so let me.
everything.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, I don't know where you're going with
the
that.
story is about two dogs, two puppies. One
Yeah.
is from the city, and one is from the country.
Yeah.
and
The male dog is from the country.
the male dog is from the country, and the city dog is the female dog.
Yeah.
And so when the
Biff and Little Miss.
there you go.
Biff is the male
Did
dog.
I
and
jump?
Little
Did I
Miss
jumpstart
is
you
the-
enough? Now can you tell the
Yeah.
story? Go ahead.
No,
They
you
weren't
go.
just sniffing.
No, but there was a country fair, and Little Miss's female owner, she took Little Miss to this country fair, and she was walking around, and Biff happened to be with his male owner at the country fair in the truck, and then he's like, "Ooh, what's that in the air?"
Right now you
And
got
then he jumped out of the truck, and he
Right.
was sniffing, and she was sniffing, and it was, a very enjoyable story.
yeah. So it was called Live to Sniff, and we self-published it.
Yes.
And then we moved on to other things. So among the other things, we thought when we did Live to Sniff, we should do a book called Robin and the Giant. So the first thought about Robin and the Giant was to make them us
Yeah, as adults.
As adults. So let me see if I
Yeah.
can find those pictures.
Those are wonderful pictures that you did. I love those
Let's see
pictures.
if I can find them. But
Okay.
anyway, I'll
Isn't
find
that it
them.
at the bottom? The very bottom, right.
No, those are.
Oh, okay, the third row up. No, okay.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, so these I'm just going to show you two of them. So
Mm-hmm.
that was going to be Robin from Robin and the Giant
Mm-hmm.
as an adult woman
Yeah.
teaching kids about reading and the important things. And this, by the way, the illustration is done with colored pencil.
Yeah, beautiful.
And this other picture is supposed to be the giant. That's supposed to be me.
That's right.
And I'm apparently a conductor or an engineer of a train.
Yeah, because the premise of the story was we were going to take the children on a train ride, and they were all going to have books, and they were going to tell us about their adventures, and we were going to, tell them about what's in the books, and
Right.
the goldfish in the first picture, he was even coming along for the ride.
And it was called Storybook Railroad.
Yeah,
And Storybook Railroad became the title of a podcast we have. We still have it.
yeah, we do.
And it's for children. It's stories for children. And Robin and I read them, of course, and have it all filled with sound effects. And
oh yeah, it's
just
really
fun.
wonderful.
Just a fun one.
The theater of the mind. Everybody uses that phrase.
Theater of the mind. All right. So after that, now again, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this in chronological order.
Okay.
But we then decided to take the two characters, Robin and the Giant, and instead make them children.
Yeah.
And so we went to the look of You Count, I Count.
Oh, okay. That was all right.
Which one did you want to go to?
The Kite Tail Wish, but I forgot this was before that one.
Oh, was it? I don't even know.
I can't remember.
But anyway, this is You Count, I Count.
Yep.
And that's the
We're
book
having fun.
right there.
And this is the cast of characters, and You Count, I Count.
And
The band Count.
the band is Counterculture.
Yeah. And of course, and that was before the, all the movements and things. So.
Oh, it was called Count. Oh, we changed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Counterculture, but then we changed it to Count because
Count,
it was,
okay.
great.
And so it's not a book about counting, which is what everybody seemed to think.
Yeah.
It's more of a book about belonging. Like you count, you matter. And so that was kind of a hard sell for people to somehow get past. It's not about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, although those are in the book.
That's right. Exactly.
We do have that.
So there we go. She's number 6, I think. Oop, I hit your microphone.
Okay. All right. So some of these pictures I can insert as B-roll.
Yeah. Okay.
So after that, actually, if I could go before that, just to do the chronological order, while we were still at the radio station, I wrote a novel for young readers. My son was 9 at the time, and I wrote basically a book for him, and that was called Oreo and Braun, Zob, The Full Circle Quest.
Yeah.
It's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
All of these books are still out there somewhere.
Yeah, they are. You can get them on Amazon.
So, I wrote that. So that was actually the first book that I wrote, and it wasn't illustrated.
Yeah, for young readers.
Right.
It was great. It's very, very, it's a very insightful book. The characters depicted in there are very fun, and the story is an edge of your seat kind of story. Very nice.
And I showed the coloring book that you wrote,
Okay.
the one from the Hilton. So yeah, we had.
Okay.
Part of what I was sketching at the local Hilton, the Ocala Hilton, and what I was doing was basically the same thing I was doing in the resorts in Orlando. I was sketching people's faces. So the manager of the hotel, his name was Joe, and Joe asked me to do a picture of his dogs. There's his dogs. Hold on, let me show the dogs first.
Oh, okay.
So there's
Sorry.
Joe's dogs. And they had asked us if we could do a book. They have a horse in the back of the Hilton. It's
A Clydesdale.
a Clydesdale. His name is
Buddy.
Buddy.
Buddy, the
So
Clydesdale.
Robin wrote a story about Buddy, and I did the line drawing so children could color them in.
Yeah. And he has 2 horses that were actually living next door, Rose and Marion.
So actually,
So,
that might be our first book. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure the
Yeah.
timeline here.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was one of the books. Now, that one I don't think is available anywhere. That's something they gave out for free to the children at the hotel.
At the Hilton, yeah.
At the Hilton. So anyway, as we did this, we started to be.
2003.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah.
Okay, 2003. Wow.
Yeah.
So as we did this,
Mm-hmm.
we started to become familiar with the whole process of publishing.
Yeah.
And so I want to show you some of the books that we wrote. The Robin has them here. They're not going to be in order.
Yeah.
But here's one, The Seashells.
Well, here, this is one of the first ones.
Oh, this is one of the first ones,
yeah.
yes.
The Kite Tail Wish.
Kite-Tail Wish.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering about the illustrations on this one, that was done, I think I did that one in watercolor, I think.
I think so.
I think I did that one in watercolor.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't yet discovered digital art. I don't think it was even available yet at that time.
No, it wasn't even available, the
So-
digital art. And what was neat about the book Live to Sniff, you did all of the pictures, and then we hand typed, everything we do ourselves. We don't outsource it to anybody. We do it all ourselves. But in the very beginning there, when we did Live to Sniff, you did all the pictures, and then we positioned the words, and then we put them on transparencies, and then taped it to the parts of the book, and then we took it up to Kinko's, and
Which was a printing place.
yeah, which was a printing place, and then we'd photocopy it for the prototype, and then we did send it to a self-publisher that we had to upload everything ourselves, and then it was turned into a book. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't think we have all of our books here, but
No.
let's show some of the ones we have. So,
Okay,
Some of
you
those we
mentioned
have.
this.
and that is called
She Sells Seashells.
She Sells Seashells.
Yeah, and these are for, this is what we created when we created the group of kinder kids, children.
Right.
You
right.
know, yeah.
Right,
So
the
we've
kinder
got a
kids.
whole cast of characters for kinder kids.
So, and we're probably going to leave some of the books out that we're just not remembering. But
Okay.
so let's see. So
Let's see.
then we did this one. This was kind of the odd man out. This is called The Diary of Denver Pontiac.
Yeah.
And you have to open it to show the pictures.
Okay.
So that one is kind of the odd man out. It's a little bit more for like an older kid.
Yeah.
Or maybe even an adult. It's not adult in the
Maybe for 8-year-old and up.
yeah.
Yeah, the young readers for that read young
Yeah.
novels.
Right. But that was a fun one though. The Diary of Denver Pontiac. That was fun. So
And let's see. Oh,
what else do we have here?
we
Oh, the Chanteuse sleigh ride. You have that one?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. So this is the Chanteuse sleigh ride.
this is a cool concept.
And this is a story of, this is a Thanksgiving story that is fake, of course. But it's the story of how Christmas songs come into all of our homes beginning on Thanksgiving. It's like there's a lady, she's called the Chanteuse, and she has a sleigh ride just like Santa Claus does. And Robin and the Giant get a ride in the Chanteuse sleigh with the Chanteuse.
That's right.
Yeah, and they spread songs all over the world.
Yeah,
So-
because generally that's when the Christmas songs were beginning to be played was on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, now they start them on the 4th of July, but,
Yeah.
but back then.
Gosh. Oh, this is one of our favorites.
Okay, yeah, the cat who crossed the ocean.
Yeah,
This is a story. Go ahead, tell that
this
one.
is a good story. There are 2 cats, Semolina and her her brother,
Marginal.
Marginal, and their owners were looking for a forever home for Marginal, and he was adopted. And
Seminole lived in Staten Island,
yeah,
and he was I think he went to the other cat went to Manhattan.
yeah, right.
So to cross
Right.
New York Harbor was kind of like crossing the ocean.
That's right. That's right. And so Semolino is the sister, Marginal was the younger brother, Kitty. And, she was very sad that he left, but then the premise of the book is, well, she found the red ribbon that they used to play with. He didn't
Right,
take it
right,
with him.
right.
So she had to go on an adventure and cross an ocean to find him.
Right. Right.
That was pretty cool.
Right. And the ocean was New York Harbor. But to a cat, hey, that's a whole ocean, right?
That's right. Exactly.
All right.
This is one of our favorites, too. Well, they're all our favorites, but
Sea Turtle Guardians.
yeah, the Sea Turtle Guardians. We like this one. You go.
Oh, you want me to tell this story?
Sure.
Well, this is a story about the children who go to visit the sea turtle sanctuary down in Juniper or I can't remember what it is in Florida.
Loggerhead Marine Life Center in Juneau, Florida.
Juneau, okay, in Juneau.
Yeah.
And it's basically a story about what the work they do there, and how they save turtles and how they release turtles after they've been healed from some kind of injury they may have had.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. I love doing these illustrations because of the water. It was fun to draw things and paint things underwater.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty neat.
And of course, by the time I was doing these books, I was using digital art to do them.
And we do have more books that we haven't.
I want to show give me the
have
hardcover
here.
one that's over there, because you don't realize what that is, I don't think.
No, I don't.
Okay, so the hardcover book is not a book that we put out. However, Jake Parker is an artist, and he has challenged everybody in the world
Yeah.
to do something called
Inktober.
Inktober. In October, you have to draw something every day. So I started drawing these pen and ink drawings for Inktober. Let me just make sure I don't cover your face.
It's okay.
So these are the drawings.
You got to show the drawings.
And so I created a theme throughout the whole month, and then we made it into a book. And the theme was apple tree seedlings. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's where that comes from. Because we were doing the radio show. Now, there was a different radio. Now, I said we were out of radio. I neglected to tell you, we went back into radio at a different radio station, WOCA. And so we had another 17 years in radio after the first. It's about broken in half, 17 and 17 about. So we had Robin would bring in apples and food, and I was eating an apple in the station, in the studio, and one of the seeds had a little piece of a root coming out of it.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in kindergarten and the teacher wants you to take a seed and put it into a jar with wet paper towels. So that's what I did. I put it into the jar with wet paper towels, and every day I would watch that root get bigger and bigger and longer. And eventually I said, I've got to put that in a pot. So I got a little tiny flower pot
Yeah.
with soil, and I put it in there. And then it started having leaves. And it was an apple tree seedling. So then I started doing it more and more. I kept eating more apples and kept planting seeds, and I kept getting all these apple tree seedlings.
Yeah.
So I was giving them away on the radio. People were coming in to pick them up, and
Yeah, they had already sprouted a little bit, so they were.
so
on
the
their way.
the original tree is outside there.
Yeah, it is.
It's about 4.5 feet tall, 5 feet tall maybe by now. I don't know what happened to the other ones.
Yeah.
but it all started with the idea with the book.
Yeah, Jake Parker's Inktober, and that was the first time he did that. And every time Larry would do all the pictures, and then he wrote, all stories, and each picture was a story, and all the stories intertwined with each other. Right. And the book's title is The Guardian of the Apple Tree Seedlings.
That's right.
And it's really, really nice. Nobody else during that Inktober thing, all they did were pictures. They didn't do a whole, story and a whole book and all that stuff.
Right, now I want to show you this book.
It's nicer to have pictures with stories.
This book is called Never Despair, God is Always There.
Yeah.
Now, this is a book that's not illustrated, and I wrote this as a result of when we did the radio show, we had a lot of news stories. By the way, the 17 years that we did at WOCA was not called Robin and the Giant.
No.
That show was called AM Ocala Live. It was a talk show that was news-ish, and we did interviews, etc.
Every weekday morning for 5 hours, Monday through Friday, 5
Right,
hours
right.
each weekday,
Right.
on the air, interviewing a plethora of people, a variety of people. We did that for 17 years.
Yeah.
But we did radio for a total of 36 years.
Okay.
But now we're, back into it again. So that's
Well,
important
with
to
the
note.
podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, in the course of doing the radio show, we would have people coming on talking about people in their lives who unfortunately had decided to end their lives, commit suicide.
Yeah.
Might as well
sad.
tell it like it is. Mm-hmm. And there was a statement that stuck with me from Nancy Sinatra. She had said that Frank told her father, told her never despair. Mm-hmm. That was his message to her. Mm-hmm. And so I took that and I added, never despair. God is always there.
Yeah.
And what I put into this book are true stories, actual stories that either happened to me or happened to somebody we interviewed. And they are stories of, in my mind, evidence that God will rescue you. God will come around. It doesn't seem like he's quick all the time, but he does come around. He does get you out of the jam you're in, whatever
sure.
it is. Just don't get yourself deeper into a jam, because the deeper you get yourself, the harder it's going to be to get out. Or maybe there's a philosophy here that you're supposed to be somehow
In the dregs.
For a little while to teach you a lesson. I don't know. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. But anyway, that was the idea for that book.
And what was interesting about that is, again, this was, a few decades ago, and that's when web TV came into
Right,
existence.
right.
And you were typing all your stuff on web TV.
That's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
sure. So, we've been through a lot of technology changes, since we started radio in 84. But you were even with technology way before that, with cassettes and things. So we've been, part of the growing process with everything. We've learned it all.
So one of the things I think is noteworthy is the fact that Robin was a mentor for how many years?
5 years.
5 years. Robin was a mentor to a young girl named Jessica.
Yeah.
And
From 8th grade on.
I'm going to let Robin tell that story. But what happened is Robin took the girls up to the capital of Florida, Tallahassee, and they got to meet the governor.
Yeah.
At that time was Jeb Bush. Mm-hmm. And Robin came back with a photograph of the girls with Jeb Bush, and I did a pastel portrait of the girls with Jeb Bush. And you tell the whole story.
Yeah, well, I was part of the mentor program in Take Stock in Children in our Marion County, Florida public schools. And every year there are students that need to have outside help. They're either from broken homes, or their parents are in jail, or they still have their parents here, but they need a little extra encouragement so they don't go off into, the dark side and become criminals. So I was paired up with this young lady named Jessica. We went through an audition process with Jessica and her parents. And then the parents liked me. I liked them. I liked Jessica. So, as part of the program, since she was in 8th grade and was there through her graduation from high school. And that's Jessica on the viewer's left there, Jeb Bush's right, and her two friends. And then that year, a couple years into the program, they went Take Stock in Children, got to go up to Tallahassee, all of the Take Stock in Children students. So we took the bus up there and had a great time. You had your mom and dad there and your son.
Right.
I had my daughter there with me. Jessica had her mom there. And we were fortunate enough to meet Governor Bush. And he posed, again for photos. And then you've got a good story about that day.
Well,
because that day was
my story is
day.
about my mom, really.
Yeah.
My mom was so excited to be in the governor's place, and my dad was too. But my dad was a former New York City policeman. He didn't show emotion. That's just the way they are.
Yeah.
But my mom was giddy, and Jeb came in and he put his arm around her. He said, "Hey, Mom, And oh my gosh, it made her day. And then she sat with him on the couch while we all talked. So it was my mother sitting right next to the governor the whole time we were talking, which was kind of
Yeah.
cool. And she never forgot that.
And what was amazing about that day is this appointment was set up like 3 months in advance.
Right.
And it was the day after 9/11.
It was September 12th,
Yeah.
2001. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we thought, well, it's going to be canceled. But they called. They said, nope, it's not going to be canceled. So we drove up there and we got to go in and keep our appointment with Governor Bush. And, he was just so personable and everything. And it was just such a great day. You wouldn't have even known that our country had been attacked for our meeting. He didn't let that, ruin the moment with Jessica. And it was just so wonderful. He would take time with her, spoke with her, and my daughter and your son. I mean, he was just such a wonderful person.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
Politics aside, he was a good man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Great with the children.
So now we're going to fast forward to the end of our radio career period. Robin and I, like I said, did 17 years with WOCA, and I want to show you this newspaper clipping that shows us in both times, like early on in the career and then at the end of the career.
Yeah, that's at WTMC.
No, the first one is
The one
WTMC.
on the left, yeah.
And the other one is WOCA.
WOCA.
Okay, that's when we
Yeah.
ended it. Okay.
Yeah, that's when we retired officially.
So when we retired, that's when I stopped having to work on Sundays. And
Yeah.
that's when I started joining Robin and her mom in church. Mm-hmm. And so there's a little bit of this story that has to do with that, because the last book we want to show you, well, no, not the last, the second to the last book we want to show you
Yeah.
is a book that we didn't write. Mm-hmm. It was written by Annette and Jeffrey Shanks. Now, this is the first one, but and I'm the one who designed the cover, and I did the illustrations.
Oh, yeah.
So just show the illustrations, because the cover, I'll show a cover on the B-roll,
Okay.
but there's some of the illustrations from the book. So I worked on that book from about February to June, I think, and was working with Pastor Jeffrey Shanks and Annette Shanks. They're the authors of the book called Grandma's Music Box. And it was a big project for us in 2023. So that story is just 1 year old. Last year at this time, we didn't even start the book yet, because it's only February 1st today.
Yeah,
Okay, so
exactly. And this book was based on Annette's life. It goes from when she was a young girl,
right.
and it's based on her life and her mother's life, and very, very beautiful.
All right, so the last book that we want to tell you about is called The Mouse Who Changed Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'll put a B-roll picture in here
Okay.
of that.
And there were a few books in between that. We came up with the idea for the Winter Kinder Kids.
Right.
And there's a book about Christmas with the Winter Kinder Kids. There's a
Right.
book about them playing in the snow with the Winter Kinder Kids. Two of the Winter Kinder children are on-air correspondence, and it's called Wildlife Cam.
Right, right.
Depicting, different wildlife through the webcams around the world. So there's plenty of other books out there that we have done for children, ages 4 to 7.
So, so that was called The Mouse.
Oh, the Swan Doctors, too. They're one of the
Oh,
books.
the Swan Doctors.
Yeah,
Yep, got that
yeah.
picture there. Yes, and
So, and then, the story about the animals.
which one was that?
Yeah, with the crocodile. No, this one to the very, very left. Up. Yeah, there you go. The tiger with the sitar. It's a really, really nice book. Different animals playing different instruments, and we.
Oh
touched
yeah,
on those.
right. The
Yeah.
Harmony of the Beasts.
Yes,
Is
the
that's-
Harmony
is
of
what that's
Beasts.
called.
Yeah.
That's right.
So there are plenty of books out there. They're all on Amazon.
Anyway,
Just
so
on our website.
a lot of art, a lot of stories.
Yeah. Oh, there's Liftus.
And we have done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So those of you who've wanted to know about us, hopefully, I feel like it was pretty complete just now what we said, but I know we got some stuff out of order and probably left a few things out.
Yeah.
But that's what we've been doing, and And thank you for being interested. It's humbling to know that you want to know about what we've done.
Sure. And The Mouse Who Changed Christmas is based on a true story.
It is.
And it's based on a true story about the origin of Silent Night, the song. And no, this is
Well, now that you said that,
really wonderful
Silent
to
Night,
revisit.
the song Silent Night, I mean the story about Silent Night, the song.
Yeah.
The way it goes, the way I've heard it, is that the pastor of the church, or the priest, was going to play Christmas songs. But when he went to practice, the organ's bellows, because it was old days, they didn't have electric organs.
No.
So he had to work the organ with his feet to pump the bellows to push the wind through the pipes. But the bellows had been, a hole was chewed into the bellows by a mouse.
Yeah.
Or by mice.
Yeah.
And so he had to go to his partner and say, hey, can we put music to my poem because I don't have any Christmas songs. So his friend, and we've got the names in the book, but
Yeah.
his friend played the guitar, and that's how Silent Night came about. But our book it's about that, but it's more about the mouse who chewed the hole,
Yeah. He's
the mouse who
cute.
caused the problem. And the thing was, it wasn't that he was just hungry. He wasn't just chewing willy-nilly. He thought the poem that was called Silent Night, or Stille Nacht in German, he thought that poem was beautiful, and it should have a melody to it. So he thought, well, where do you find a melody? He said, it's got to be in this thing over here. And he saw the
Pop
bellows.
organ.
He said, I'm going to chew in there, and I'm going to get those melodies out, and I'm going to give it to the priest, and we're going to have a song.
Yeah.
Turned out there was nothing in there. And that's how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring.
Thank you so much for caring and for being inquisitive and asking us what we do. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. It's February.
First,
And guess what?
2024.
We're pushing 70 years old. That's the next number for us.
Yeah, it is.
We're 69 now.
Yeah.
But
I
the
won't
next
get there
number.
for 9 months, so
I know,
I'm fine.
but the next number. That's why we look old, because we are
70.
old. Well, you don't look old.
Well,
You
no,
look
but I
pretty
look
good.
different. I look different. At least I brought my hair color back to the dark. You know, every person in this dark hair like mine has to, try a blonde. To be a blonde.
Wonder what you were
occasionally.
singing there. Wonder what you were singing.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, that one. Did we
This
show that?
one,
Oh, we
yeah,
showed
blonde,
it.
yeah. This was one of the ones in
Hold
the movie.
it closer.
Yeah.
Hold it closer.
That's us. But no, that
I'm
was
even wearing a
great.
baseball shirt.
Yeah,
Looks
and
like.
we do have the different CDs out, Time to Travel, Stand Up for the Children. Ooh, which is a great song that was entered into the Congressional Record of the United States, I think in 1989,
Wow.
by U.S. Congressman
good memory.
Clifford B. Stearns. Stand Up for the Children, and we've just been. And one of the other things we did was we wrote an entire musical stage production.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was performed by a group of 9 children. We wrote it and everything, and they gave up their whole summer
And that was called West
to do
Parnell
that.
Lane.
Yep, West Parnell Lane, and all of the proceeds from that went to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. So a lot of our projects go to different charities and to other people. We do a lot of stuff on gratis. So that was that. We got a whole lot of other things.
All right, wrap it up, partner.
Okay, so take care, be good. Don't forget to write.
Remember, writing
Is very important.
is very important.
And the world
The world spins fine,
on her own.
baby.
Yeah. God bless you all.